It's Money Monday. We're talking about love and money, of course, depending on who you are. They may or may not go hand in hand. Finances play a big role in relationships, and what your partner does and does not do and does not know about your money habits could have a major impact in how healthy your relationship is. Joining me right now is Megan Hammond, Director of Financial Planning with WealthQuest. Megan, thanks so much.
Thanks for letting me be here today.
What a sensitive topic, but of course this is the week of love, the month of love, so you have to talk about this, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so how important should money and finances be in a relationship?
Oh gosh, there are so many things that I think play a part in all of the check boxes that we have to decide who and how we're going to choose our future partner. Surveys are telling us that money and finances are playing an increasingly important role in how we evaluate our future partners. So Chime actually did a survey that said 77% of people agreed that irresponsible spending was a turnoff. And 22% of people actually broke up with somebody because of their spending habits. And so we're seeing the importance of finance play out in real time. Now, when some people look at specific numbers, so what's your credit score, or how much do you have in savings, what's your debt? I like to look at financial compatibility because that gives us a sense of the long term. Numbers are great, but they change because life changes, and so it's hard to know what that'll look like in the future.
And I think I have an idea of what you mean by that because of experience, but what do you mean by financial compatibility?
Yeah. Financial compatibility is really about you and your partner being on the same page as far as money is concerned. And it doesn't mean that you make the same amount of money or that you agree on every aspect of finances, but that you can complement each other in a way that allows you to both fulfill your financial goals.
Because some people are risk takers and some are a little bit more reserved when it comes to finances.
Absolutely.
Can that work?
It can work, but I think what's really interesting is we all have a relationship with money. Whether we like to think about it that way or not, we do. And so understanding your own relationship with money and understanding how you want to use money in your life, what purpose you want money to fill, how you're going to allow it to help you fulfill your life goals, that's going to impact conversations about retirement, kids, work, your housing situation that aren't money specific, but absolutely play a role in those decisions that you make by yourself or with a partner.
Yeah. So how do you determine the financial compatibility that you have with your partner?
Yeah, well, first, I think it's really important that we understand our own goals, right? That's the biggest part. And then it's communication. So there was actually another survey done from A Life Happens. They said it takes on average 5 months for us to talk about money with our partners. But I think there are a lot of ways to talk.
Really?
Yeah, but it takes 9 months to say I love you. I know. Okay. So, but I think what's really important is, when we talk about financial compatibility, we don't have to talk about numbers. So I could ask you, what's your life goal? And you could say, I really want to start a business, or I really want to retire early and travel the world. That's going to give us a sense of how we want to utilize, or how your partner wants to utilize money in their life. Questions like, do you like to enjoy your money? Do you like to save it? Do you like to give it to others? We can learn about motivations, or even talking about childhood. How did your family talk about money growing up? How did you use it? It's going to give us a sense of maybe the baseline for maybe how decisions are made. And all of those things are going to allow us to figure out, are we compatible from a financial perspective, and can we make joint decisions together over the long term?
Yeah, all right. Megan Hammond with WealthQuest. Thanks so much. You may want to have those conversations before Friday if you haven't already. Save yourself some money on flowers and candy. All right, Megan, thanks so much. Allison, look at the forecast.